elders have chose to go to a warmer location. There's some are in the hub, some are in the elders hall. But we do have over 100 that are still on the live stream, so we're going to keep it. We're going to keep broadcasting from this location. So bundle up, try to stay warm. We are going to commit to wrapping things up before 4:30. So things will get going here, and then we'll be wrapping up before 4:30. Before Nimki Onquat comes back, one of the things that I was asked to speak of is with regard to Anishinaabe Gishgat, this beautiful day, this wonderful day that we're celebrating. Anishinaabe Gishgat was the vision of Gitsit Ba. And one of the parts of that vision was that this would be a day associated with the Anishinaabe Nation Grand Council. That when those chiefs came together to do their business as they usually do, that this would be an opportunity for a more family kind of gathering. That would happen the day before Grand Council. That will include some of those activities, some learning, some ceremony, some fun, some games, those good things that make us Anishinaabe. Learning those things. And so that's what is envisioned, that's what was given to us, and that's what the Anishinaabe Nation is going to try to do for next year. It didn't work out this year in terms of connecting with Grand Council. It's pretty close, there's a few days off, but next year they're going to try to make that part of the Grand Council activities. So it would be Anishinaabe Gishgat followed by those 3 days of Chiefs gathering. So that's what we can look forward to next year. Also looking forward to that clan gathering that Daryl spoke of. That continuation of that work of restoring our Three Fires Confederacy. So really looking forward to that. To wrap up our discussion, to talk a little bit about the vision of the Anishinaabe Nation. Perhaps the future of Anishinaabe Gishgat, but also the future of how we need to take those steps to do this work, to assert ourselves, to drive down this work that has to happen, to do that in a strong way. So to offer that, I'm going to bring on Nimki Onquat to offer us those words. So our Grand Council Elder, Richard Asinaway.
Mimino Nimki Onquat wa magagizme goiga Anishinaabe. Mino nega to magot ni beneston. Mino sin hatu temet. Migot cheme minedo. Mino goding. Iwi do kwang managagizgok. Wasgabe twang jelimiang. Mit appen moyang de sen mamna. Abagje benengit. Mish minong goding musiga boya. Awajme gowe. Wigijen de mawe. Mogen Anishinaabe korsning godani gezot. Inoga makkanak. Iwi towe twadrmoin. De magem tussinders. Gabing in de noe. Dat zo sta go. Einzel in dikket. Punige det tussen. Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone back home as well. Miigwech. Very beautiful day. Heard a lot of good things, a lot of good stories, a lot of sharing, lots of knowledge. And that's the way we are as Anishinaabe. And today, I'm going to share you what I was asked, and it's the vision of the nation, of our Anishinaabe Nation. But I'll start off with this. I don't know how far back I'm talking about, many years ago. Hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands of years ago. Our ancestors that lived a life at one time that walked on their moccasins. They lived in such a way. And back then, everything they did it all right. Everything they did it all right. As time went on, that started to change. We started to lose that way, slowly. We understand why now, is what was brought to us and what was taken away from each and every one of us. And we all struggled with that. Still today, there's a lot of people still struggling with that. And now it's time for all of us to rise as Anishinaabe and start using your gifts that you have, that you've carried, and what you were shown. A Minado that showed you that. And for myself here, how did Anishinaabe do that a long, long time ago? How did they do that? How did they do it all right? What they did was Giabajituna. What they used was their mind. The power of the mind. Nendamoin, what we were given. Everyone was born with that. But back then, they used their mind in such a way. And that mind that they were born with, they used their mind, 98% of their mind, positive. They knew what to do in any given situation. Right from birth to death. They knew what to do. Or if somebody was sick, they didn't sit there and ponder, wondering what to do. They knew right away. By using that positive mind, that 98% of their brain to do that. But there's that 2% in their mind that was negative. They didn't really go there. But the only time they went there was when they saw someone coming. So-called Jaganash or settler or whoever, maybe an enemy. That's when they tapped into that negative. The Yangovzo, they were careful too. They knew what to expect and they knew what to do. Mige Gijadok, those were the Gijadok. They knew what to do. Again, that as that time went on, that all changed. And what's happening for quite some time now, I don't know how many years I'm talking about, but way back though, is that the people that were born, including me in my world, when I was brought here, when I came to be, I was born with the same mind as our ancestors. Exact same. And what happens to us, what happened to me, when I grew up, what was done, what happened? I started to use my mind. 98% of my mind negative. Everything was negative. But that 2% positive was there. I didn't really go there. Didn't want to believe in myself. That I could do it or to make change. I hung on to that negative part in life. But I just didn't know what to do with that. So all of us, across our nation, across Turtle Island, we've all been through something and still are. We've seen a lot with our own eyes. We've heard a lot with our own ears. We've tasted a lot with our own mouth. We touched a lot of things with our own hands. And we smelled a lot of things from different parts, wherever we went. And it was hard for every one of us. So back then, Again, how did they do it? Well, us Nishnabek, we're not really, we really don't know how to, we know because we went to school to learn from the book. I learned that way too when I grew up in school. I just didn't quite grasp it or understand it, what they're talking about. With anything, whatever subject it was. I grew up in a language. I never spoke English as a young boy until they put me in school. That's where I learned that English language. But that English language that I've learned, I've never swore so much in my life. But that language that we were given, that we're born with, there is no words for swearing. Nothing. That's the spirit of our language, how powerful that is. And we need to tap into that language once again and keep learning. It don't matter if you speak one word or two words or one sentence, that's good enough. Keep learning. And the way to learn it is not so much from the book or some kind of a material. The best way to learn that is to be around language speakers. Listen to them. Follow them what they're saying. That's the way I learned our language from my grandparents, my parents as well. They always spoke it. And I started to understand it. But that English language kind of messed me up. And like math, for example, they used to call it arithmetic back then. 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2. I couldn't put it together. And I sat there and thought about that. I'm going, wait a minute here. I already know math in our language. That's the way they taught me. And what they used to do was, I used to help out with the fishermen, or even cutting firewood. And the fishermen would say, aha, these bins of fish. What they said was, divide it in 5. So I knew how to divide in our language. Or they would say, times 2 more. I've learned that. That's how we learned arithmetic back then, is through our language and the way we were taught and the way we were told. So that language, when I first started speaking, that Anishinaabe Moen, that spirit language of it all, it was amazing. Listening to my grandparents too, neighbors even. But when they first put me in that school, that's where it began for me. And what happened there, and for a lot of people, is they twisted our tongues. Twisted tongue. That's why we cannot really pronounce those old words. There's still people that speak it. Those old Nishnave Kidwenan. Now we broke it up, So we'll try to learn that old language if we can. And there are people that speak it. We need to go to them and listen. Listen to that language. They will share it with us. So, again, how do we do all this? And how do they do it? They had a vision, our ancestors, what to do. And that's the way we learn. To do something. The vision. You will also be shown too in your sleep. And the book when they call. And if you want to really seek it, go to the bush and sit there for a while. That land will speak to you. Those animals will come to you and speak to you as well. All those living beings. that exist will help you and guide you through. That's where you get that. And for me, that's what I've done. I fasted at our ceremonies. I fasted at rain dance. And then I fasted in the bush. And just this last month I went out. Why did I go? Something happened last fall. Mawani Khan, Gordon. He called me now and then, text me in Anishinaabe language only. That's the way we spoke to each other in text. And one day he asked me something back in October. Because I gave out the monk, can you come and help me? Oh, aha, Waganesh. And he was silent on the phone. I says, I feel something that you want to ask me something. Then I heard his voice start to tremble. Then I heard him cry. And that's when he says, Kadagi now the monk, can you come and help me? Aha, Waganesh. What? Okay, Mark, the leaders are going to come and gather here in my community at my house. Aha, I'll be there. And so I went down in October, met the family. I've known this family for quite a while. They're my relatives. My grandma was a Wendemans. She was from there. So I arrived there, but I still don't know why I'm there. I even asked him. I says, so why are these Gimok here? I don't know, he says to me. Well, I need to know. I don't want to walk in here blind. I said, well, he says, we'll do a pipe ceremony, and we did it. I said, but I want to hear them. I know they have a talking stick they use when they speak, but I use my wings so I can hear them. And they shared what they shared, where they're at, with governance, the nation building they talked about, even the struggles that they have, and what they want to do. TRC, that was brought up, and also the epidemic of COVID. So once they all shared, I listened. Then I started to speak about different parts of that, trying to help them. And it was a good day. But I remember him telling me that day, he says, Richard, I'm going to warn you something. I said, Waganesh. He says, not all of them. He says, some Gimak, some staff. I was in the they aren't listening. What do you mean? He says, you will see it. And I've seen it before. And he says, they're like this with their cell phone when someone's talking, or when I speak, he says, or they nudge each other. Oh, I says, I know how to fix that. He says, you do? Ah. I says, watch. Then I shared, and the topic was on pandemic, and I talked about COVID, the sickness that came through in this world. That was foreseen by our ancestors, our elders. They knew. And it put fear in a lot of people. A lot of people, still today. So that pandemic, that's still here, that's still lingering. People don't know what to do. And they were going through this emotion called Sidayan Damoin. Sidayan Damoin in our language means grief, grieving. A lot of people grieving during this time. A lot of people lost their loved one during that time of hard times. We weren't allowed to do ceremonies. We weren't allowed to do traditional burial ceremonies. Nothing like that. Just because COVID sickness was here, there's things that never stopped. What is it? The children were born every day still during this pandemic. Cancer was still moving during this pandemic. That never stopped. But we all stopped. All of us. I said, now, this is the time. There's a reason why this is all happening. And it's the time of change that we're approaching. And I talked about every 13 years this morning at the sunrise ceremony. Change. How we follow the moons, the 13 moons. How it governs us. And how we're not going to go by that. By the force of nature. And that pandemic, that still lingers. And I go, well, yes, pandemic is here. This is the time to move forward now towards healing. There's going to be a lot of healing after this. Lots of healing. People are going to need healing. Because when it all began, I said it 2 years ago. Because they asked me where this is all going. I said, you may not believe me, but where this is heading is, there's going to be a lot of mental health. And it's happening. Now it's a time for healing for all of us, for everyone, for across the nation, across Turtle Island. Time to rise, time to heal. Time for all of us to go to those 4 elements that were given. To go to that Shkodekka, that fire. Sit with it. It will speak to you. It will give you healing. Go to the lands. If something's wrong, we go to our mothers. And if we don't have a mom, we can still go to our mother. Who's that? Shkokamikwe, Mother Earth. We go to her. She will nurture us. She always has and always will. If you look at the hills and mountains somewhere, those mountains that are high, what are those? There are Mother Earth's breasts. Go there. She will nurture you. You will find healing. You will find love and compassion and kindness. What a mother has to offer. That's where we need to go. Spend time out there. Enjoy what we're given, these elements. Bish, water that we keep hearing about. What's happening to it. We got to speak for that water spirit. Represent them. Some way, somehow. By using your gift. And also to start going to the stone people, like I said earlier. Go to the sweat lodge ceremonies. They'll show you something. They'll take that sickness from you. They'll cleanse you out. And you go to those tree people, all those trees out there. And when that tree stands, it stands like this, with his arms out. It knows you're coming. It knows already long before you see it. And when you approach it, it looks down at you. Then you stop. Then all that tree says to us, or says is this. When it looks down. Aha. Well, what are you asking of me? I come to you for help. I come to you for your medicines. Dakus, I'm sick. Aha, come in. And that's when you offer your offering and you ask for that. That's their job. That's their duty, to provide all that for us. And everything that's Bhadakate out there, everything that's in the Creator's garden out there, all them skikke, it's for everything. COVID, for cancer, everything. Same with all the four-legged animals that were put here for us, to provide that healing. And I heard that young man speak about the Vigasabi Ganan. He talked about Vigasabi Ganan is those wampum belts. And there was something he asked is about the beaver tail. That was one of the items that women used to carry, that tail. And they used that to comb their children's hair. To comb that Sidain de Moed, what they're struggling with. That's when they used to do that. We still use that today. Where do we use that? When it comes to a grieving ceremony, it's called. That's when we use that beaver tail. I have one at home. And that beaver tail, yes, it's very true. Long before you approach the beaver pond, it knows you're coming. That's a gift it has. But every part on that beaver is used. Our ancestors used that for medicine, for guidance. And that tail is one of them. And we use that Panakwegizas, they call. That's when we do that ceremony. Panakwegizas is a falling leaves moon in the fall. And why we do that then is when somebody lost a loved one, they're grieving. Sidain the Mook, loss of a loved one, they have a hard time moving forward. So in the fall, that's why Anishinaabe always gather and have a feast for these loved ones that have gone on, to honor them and thank them, and to celebrate with them. Then after that, they use what's called Panakwege ceremony, they call. Panakwegizas is falling leaves moon, when the leaves are falling. Panakwege ceremony is the combing of the hair ceremony. In the fall, we see lots of beautiful colors at that time. So many vibrant colors. You'll see that at gatherings, funeral homes, wakes. What do people bring? Wawaskune. They'll bring flowers of different colors. This represents the fall. Fall is a time of finished. That's what that represents, done. The trees are done, their job. So when our Gijadak, children, families, people, when their life comes to an end, they fall. That's when that's done. Minoshgo, attached to that beaver tail, there's a tailbone there. It's about that round, and it's got a little handle on there. There's a certain ceremony that's to be done for that one. And if you don't know what to do, you go to that beaver and it'll show you. And you use that beaver tailbone, and you look in there, and you'll see it. For a moment ago, that beaver will show you that, what you need to do. That's what we're given. He gave us everything we need. Everything. Everything we see here. Now it's time to use them more. Not to be afraid, not to be ashamed even. We have to start. So when I went fasting, I took that feather Gordon gave me at that gathering to take over his role. Like, I was surprised by that. I didn't expect it. I didn't want to say no to him, but I accepted. Aha! And not long after, he marched off. He went home, going home. I was there and helped any way I can. And then after I got home, I thought about that. That eagle feather that he gave me, as you saw me wore this morning at the sunrise ceremony. Thought about it in winter months. And then give it the stick, he came to me in my sleep. And he says to me, aha, ceremony ko siya to. I just didn't know what it was. So I felt that I was called by the Meneduk over there. I had to go fast. It was just me. Some people ask me, who's putting you out? Me. Wasn't there an elder putting you out? Call me. That was the old way how it used to be done. Jingwak, he did that when he was Ugama. Anything he wanted to find out, he went over there and seeked it and brought back the message. He did that off and on. That's how he did it. And that's how we were given to do. When we seek that guidance, that wisdom, Nabokka, that's very important. So when I was out there, give it this a go as visits. Mirishki went to Moed Nedo, that Nedo came and he says, aha, Asa, Kitchenadamage, you did a lot for people. And I've been traveling down south at these Aboriginal health centers, different communities, trying to help people that are struggling, that are sick. For 21 years, I've been going down there every month. And other communities fit them in between there somewhere when I had the schedule. There are times I couldn't go to the ceremonies because I was tied up. I couldn't even go to the rain dance or sun dance to go help out. Nothing. Powwows, maybe 2 or 3 in a year. Top 3 powwows in a year. That's it. So Menedo gigita. Menedo Tebenchiget spoke to me and says, aha. Knocked to me which Gi abajit doing gamina for using what I gave you, what I showed you. Not the more when you help Nishnavik from all over. Especially during this hard time of COVID. I work from home, trying to help people from home. It's hard. It was different. Over phone or Zoom. And I did it. I guided them through. Explained to them what to do to pull through by using our medicines. And Mr. Menedo said, aha, kuchimigach. Kikchinaki. You did a lot. He says, now it's time for you to rest. Kukke nep. Look after you. Wow. So what did I do after my fast? When I came out of that, I thought about it. And I called the health centers that go down South Sohak. I talked to the president of the board, executive director, and the cultural lead. And I told them about my fast. I said, this is what I'm doing. I says, I'm not going to ask, I says, I'm going to take time away. Oh, 1 year. Oh. You know, Richard, he said, do what you have to. You've been with us for 21 years. You helped us build this. Sohak. from one health center. Now they have satellites of health centers now. And I did ceremonies with them on their journey to get there. Work with their staff, shareholders, clients. They said, we understand. I said, I haven't really took time for myself. Been busy. But if I did go home and visit my family, it wasn't enough time at times. Go right away. And they said, Richard, we understand. I says, but here's the thing, I know you have this in your mind. I says, no, I'm not sick. I'm healthy. I think I am. There's nothing wrong with me. But there's one thing I neglected. What was that? I didn't really have time to go seek they call dentists. Even before COVID, didn't have time to go. Then when COVID came in, I couldn't even go either. So now that part there I want to look after. My teeth and get that done. And I don't want to get sick. So the other one is this. When I said Sedaidamoen, grieving, there's something the nation has to do from here on. The Slavic nation is you have to fast in different ways. And the first thing you're going to start, I know there's leaders that were supposed to fast in May. There's some reason it didn't turn out that way. That's meant to happen. But I did. I went to a different location. So, starting today, the Islam Aviation is going to start fasting. Fasting for what? You're going to be fasting for me. I'm taking time, 1 year. It doesn't mean I'm leaving you. I'll still be there. This morning, at our sunrise ceremony, I showed you something, what to do from here on. And what did I show you? Is this. Time to start. Start doing the things that you already know and you were shown. Gordon taught you ceremonies, sunrise ceremonies. You don't have to have a pipe to do that. All you need is sema. Start doing those on your own. Even in the gatherings you go, use those local elders wherever you go. Call them. They'll help you. But I will be there to help. And like things like there's an Eagle staff gathering in September. I'll be there. I'll be there to help. I've helped with the Sarnia when they had Sarnia Eagle staff gathering. I was their head elder for it. And I will do that. And I have to do this to take that 1 year for myself. Like I said, I don't want to get sick. And I need to look after me. And that's some things we neglect. Sometimes we neglect to do. We go, and start forgetting about ourselves. We need to do that once in a while. And I guess like looking down what I wrote here. Long before the arrival of settlers, I guess, Anishinaabe, people lived in distinctive societies. Each had their own territorial boundaries that we know. Teachings on how to live in harmony with the land they inhabited. Language, customs and belief systems. Educational systems. Governance and common identity. They had their own trade networks and trading routes. They had also developed their own alliances and treaties with each other. These alliances and treaties were formalized through the use of puagan, pipe ceremonies. And these understandings were documented and translated through the use of a migasabigan, the wampum belt. Start using them. When you meet, share those pipes with other chiefs. Help each other out. And our ceremonies should be the center of our nation. Whether it's rain dance or sun dance, any ceremony should be the center of it all. That's where we need to go. Powwow. Came into Goma, the Shashab Makanda going how we were governed by a Manitou. That Nishnabé way of life. Jito when they call. Atzain is spiritual life. Jitoin is the way of life, how we were given. And we're known as we're keepers of these gifts that we've all received. Everything we see around us. Gimindu was a women, that's how we say that in the language, keepers of the gifts. So there's 4 parts that's you're gonna start using. Gamindu in what you're given is an endomoin, your mind. Use it, 98% positive. Mina agree your body, to use your body to show. But how do you show it? When you meet with settlers out there, gatherings, government, quick one, you wear your hat. But now it's time to take those 3-piece suits off. You dress up full. Whatever you have, you can get someone to make. That's how our ancestors used to dress. They wore their bonnets, but they wore the rest all the way to their moccasins when they met settlers. And what happens to them when they see you? They're intimidated by that. But if you just see you wear those bonnets and the suit, no, they can control you. Start Viskunya. And how you dress up is like the way we dance, regalias. We put them in a pile, in order, and how they go. The very first thing you put on is what you put on first. And they all go in order. And the last thing you put on, you go in order. And when you take them off, you go reverse. Take them off, reverse. Because it'll be the same pile that you have there, that you use. Miwe. And when you do that, you're actually communicating with that spirit of that animal that you're wearing. Agok, you may be wearing agok too, porcupine quill work on what you're wearing. Beadwork, nedomanesuk, beads. It's gonna start communicating with you. You right to your moccasin. And the big one is a day, your heart. You'll find it there. Where that pshko de they call, or zunga de, that strong heart that we all have. And to start doing an abi winikewin, that's how we say it. What's an hobby in week is ceremonies. We start doing more ceremonies and even attending them, bringing these sacred items in there. That's where we speak and share and come to an understanding and agreement. Makanegan. And if you want to bring Abhachichikanan, they call. Abhachichikanan is, I don't know, maybe technology, tools. You bring them there. And that's what's going to help you. Minosh Mijim, of course, we like to eat, you know. We always have food in our gatherings. Very important. Minosh Shkikke, the medicines. Those are the ones we all need. And I know it's hard for all of us to get ego. And I'm trying to help as much as I can to share what little I know. What I've come across in my travels is this. I've come across a lot of people that are sick in many different ways. Whether it's cancer, anger, jealousy, whatever that might be. I come across a lot of it. But the biggest one of all, the biggest sickness of all that I've come across is when you turn against your own people. That's the biggest sickness of all. We have to start building our spirits up. And how do we do that? By using one of those elements. And that's that shkote. Let's start building that fire, that campfire even. And bring these people into that fire. And share. And feed the other one's fire too. That fire within. Even that fire that's there that you will see. To sit around that with love and kindness. And the more we sit around that fire, we're going to become stronger. So what I showed you this morning, that's where the strength is. When I did this. Mukaman, that knife that's been tampered in fire over and over and over again. Tampering that steel when they make that. The more you tamper it, the stronger it becomes. That's what we need to do with our fire. But what do we feed our fire? Kitchenakanagan. Let's start stoking each other's fire and get that fire going and help one another. I know today's been quite the day and cold too, damp. I think medium's going to be brought to eat. I would like to share more, but not enough time. But I know you're feeling this. You're probably thinking, what? He's leaving us? I'm not leaving. You have to do this. There's something I need to do too. And if I don't, I won't be any good to anybody. Yeah. We gotta start doing these things. But I'll be there. I'll be at Shake Powwow, help out, things like that. But I won't be able to have your Zoom meetings or gatherings here and there. You just can do that. You can do your own openings, your own prayer, how you're shown. Time to start believing in yourselves. Yeah, that's the way to do it. What I do and what I'm given I didn't choose to do that. I was chosen by Benito, showing me these things, giving me these things. I didn't look for it. It came to me. And it still comes. And I will use it to help even more. Mi wat je menem der Schieberschaik, mi wat je mach gemak. The Snobek Nation, everyone that's here, even at home, listening. Throughout today's speakers, Megan Altaguk, standing here, listening to us. Katie over here, down below. I brought my Miss in. And I didn't disconnect the pipe this morning. It's still connected. It's listening. So that pipe that we're given, that you carry, it'll carry you. And the way to do it is you smoke them. And after you acknowledge what it is you're asking or whatever, when you're done, they'll do the rest for you. They do all the rest, but not to worry. You won't go wrong. Mi watches get in them. Oh, me no. Oh. Oh.
Just before we bring up Deputy Grand Chief Mino Madzo, I do want to acknowledge Alan Corbier for bringing these belts for us, the Migasug for us. So, Chimigwech, Alan, give Alan a round of applause. And Alan reminds us that in the words of Tecumseh, Tecumseh said, "Run your hands along this belt to show you are in agreement." That's why Alan sent that around for all of us to feel and touch for ourselves, that we are in agreement. And Asagnak said that the Nishnabek were told that this is a mat of peace, that these belts, this mat is a mat of peace. Touch it as I do to show your agreement. So there is reason why that wampum went around, so we really appreciate that. I'm going to ask Deputy Grand Chief James Marsden to come up and offer us remarks. And then I'm going to ask the Eagle staff carriers, Jim Bob, Patricia, and Glenn to retrieve their colors. But we'll allow our Deputy Grand Chief to have the final words.
Miigwech, Bob. Let's hear it for our MC. Woo, woo. And let's hear it for the Anishinaabe Nation today. A special day. I just remembered this morning I forgot to introduce myself, but I'll do that after. But on behalf of Grand Chief Reg, the Leadership Council Executive, our deputies Mel Hardy, Trevor Busno, and Joe Muskokman and Duke Palche. Just like to say Chimigwech to all our team and volunteers here today that helped put this special event on. The drum this morning and the firekeepers from this morning during the sunrise ceremony. Chimigwech to you all. To all our councils in attendance today, the Quay Council, Elders Council, and our special guest here today that come in, and also our former Grand Chiefs, Pat Madavi, John Bocage, and for Glenn here too, our regional our regional chief, and Mike for speaking a few words on behalf of Vernon Root. So miigwech to everybody here. And then all our commissioners, Jeanette and Barb. And sorry if I forgot anybody else. But what we had our Anishinaabe Council last week up in Thunder Bay. And I told a little story. So I'm going to say it the little story again before we close up. But it was my last visit on Manitoulin. I went up by myself and had a visit with Pearl, Carrie, and Gordon Baugh. And I was surprised at that visit as Gordon, he gifted me with my name. And it was a surprise. But he said, Jim Bob, you always use that name when you introduce yourself. So, Tijnishnikaz Minamazo. So, miigwech.
I'm going to ask Chop and Sunset if you could come and help with our song as we dance these staffs out. And I'll ask the staff holders to come and retrieve their colors. Gwingos, Patricia Shanu, and Jim Bob. But I do want to, before, maybe Ruben, are you going to sing with us? Okay. So Ruben, make your way. I do want to give the microphone over to Ruben just to quickly introduce himself. Ruben is an 8th generation leader of his peoples. And I want to give him the microphone just to introduce himself because he was singing with us today. So, Ruben.
Yeah, Ish. My name is Ruben Naichi Koho Jr. My dad's a senior. My dad came from Mescalero, New Mexico. Home of Goyacla's people. Goyacla, we know him as Geronimo. But there's a lot of great chiefs, women and men chief, both on that side of my family. My mom, Southern Cheyenne, became Southern Cheyenne Arapaho when they were moved on the Trail of Tears to Clinton, Oklahoma, from Montana, Lame Deer, them kind of areas. We were moved years ago, but we're still here. So I want to give recognition to my parents. I come from Eagle Clan, Turtle Clan, Bear Clan, White Buffalo, and Waterbird people, the Native American church people. A lot of societies, different societies from Oklahoma and New Mexico. I was raised a great bit in Flint, Michigan. That's how I came to be with the Great Lakes people, and that's where I met my wife, Patricia. So I'm working on my Anishinaabe Moen as well as all the other languages I've learned through the years. But I still tell our stories and teach our old ways as much as I can, as much as I know. And every time I do, I promised my elders and teachers I would teach them the same way they've taught me. I'm real passionate about it. I promised them that I would never let them down when it comes to sharing our stories and our ways, and I promise I never will. And I give great homage to my mother and my grandmother. They were one of the honest, best teachers, along with my grandpa in my life, and they saved my life and kept me out of a lot of trouble and kept me on that good road. So I give homage to all of our elders and our women and all of our balance and the Creator above all. So I just want to say, Chimigwech, Nyao-ish.
Miigwech Ruben, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to our drum here, and for our final song, I want to wish everyone in the live stream, thank you very much, Chimiigwech Kina, for being a part of this inaugural Anishinaabe Giishgat today. So wonderful to hear from everybody. Thank you for joining us. We had over 100 people with us all day, up to 160 earlier today. So wonderful. So I'll turn it over to Chop and Sunset to offer us this song, Miigwech.
everything is beadwork to me. Everywhere I look, everything I do is all beadwork. So that's why as soon as I see beadwork. Oh, Miguel, it's my seventh grandfather, one stripe from Cheyenne